everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're here with Dr. Andrew Kirschner. He has a solo practice in Bolliconwood, Pennsylvania. So we're going to ask him a couple questions today about vaccines, some things that you might be wondering, some commonly asked things about vaccines. So to start, Dr. Kirschner, why don't you tell us a little bit about how vaccines work, kind of broadly speaking?
Well, the simplest way to explain it is that your immune system is constantly working, fighting against things that might cause you harm. And every time it encounters something new, your body has to figure out how to fight that thing. What an immunization does, what a vaccine does, is it introduces a small, safe quantity of the thing that you're trying to fight so that your body knows what it's doing. And basically what it does is it prepares your body for the time that it does encounter this thing, so that when it's a new virus or a flu, something that you haven't had before, your body sort of has a way of dealing with it.
So when that's introduced, is there typically a side effect that a patient will feel when they get a vaccine?
Well, all the different vaccines are, have different properties and different effects. One of the things that drives me crazy is I have patients who say, I'm not going to get the flu shot because I got it once and I got the flu. The truth of the matter is you didn't get the flu shot the flu from the flu shot. It's just not possible. You can't get the flu from the flu shot. What happens is you get the flu shot during cold and flu season, and what probably happened is you came in contact with somebody who made you sick and gave you a cold. It's just not that complicated. You can't get the flu from the flu shot. But that being said, vaccines can often leave your arm a little bit sore in the spot where they gave it to you. Sometimes you can see a low-grade fever or something like that from that. But typically they're pretty benign.
So talking about, people get vaccines all throughout their life or boosters throughout their life. Why do you start so early in childhood getting vaccines and then continue to get either another vaccine or a booster for the vaccine?
Well, the childhood vaccines are given during childhood because they prepare children for the things that are potentially the most lethal. We think about things like chicken pox as being like this not big deal, but the truth of the matter is it can make you really sick. So by giving vaccines to children before they get these illnesses, they have a better shot at fighting them off and the illness not becoming a big problem.
And going back a little bit to the flu that you were talking about, the flu vaccine that you get every year, why are there things like the flu vaccine that you have to get annually versus other vaccines that you might not have to get every single year?
Well, things like chicken pox, they're always chicken pox. And fortunately, really fortunately, there haven't been major variations in chicken pox. It just is what it is. The flu, unfortunately, has a lot of different variations. And every year, doctors have to actually figure out what the prevalent flus for that season are going to be and make a formulation for the vaccine for that year. And that is supposed to cover the flus that they think are going to be the biggies that year. Most of the time they come up with a pretty good, combination of things. Every once in a while they miss the mark and don't come up as close, but you should definitely get a flu shot.
Kind of jumping off of that, for our final question, why is it so important for people to get vaccines, whether that's in childhood or annual vaccines like the flu vaccine?
Well, when you think about vaccines, you should think about two things. One, you're trying to protect yourself, but two, you're also trying to protect the people around you. As a younger person like you've got a pretty solid immune system. So flus and things like that aren't going to affect you the same way they would affect an elderly person. So by getting the flu vaccine and by everybody getting the flu vaccine, we make it a lot less likely that this flu will spread around. So it protects you from getting a flu, but it also protects your grandmother, your grandfather, or uncle from, getting the flu as well. And by getting it every year, we reduce the amount of flu that's going around and ultimately make everybody safer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for answering all these questions today. And kind of in conclusion, if someone wants to get in contact with you or your practice, what's the best way for them to do so?
The two ways are to get us through the website. The link is on the video here. And the other way is to contact my office manager, Turquoise, at 610-617-9355. And she can schedule either a telemedicine visit or a face-to-face visit.
Perfect. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for speaking with me.
Bye.